but now selling has come back to it. Let's get into the last leg of the show today with Jay Bala of Cash the Chaos. Jay is joining in. Jay, so it's been a great ride for the market, great run, all the indices hitting fresh all-time highs, and the Bank Nifty is also now building on some momentum. What do you make of things, and what's the trading advice on the indices first?
Yeah, good to be here, Surbi. See, the Nifty is stretched, and it's from the June 4th low. The markets have been trending higher, and it's like a sprinter. It's come up really quite fast here, and the markets needs to unstretch. And as long as the Nifty stays about 23,300, it's telling you it's not going to unstretch now. But if it were to come below 23,300, I think the potential to drop to about 22,600 is good. And that will actually do the medium to long-term trajectory of the market a lot of good. And right now, going up in one straight line is not healthy for the market. So I'm not saying it's going to come down, but I'll just listen to what the market is doing. As long as it's about 23,300, the market is just continuing to go up. When it comes to the banking space, it's just the two stocks, SBI and HFC Bank, that's keeping the banking sector up. Otherwise, most of the banking names are listless since the election results. The significant resistance is about 51,200 for the banking index, and the support comes at about 48,800.
Okay. Sorry, Jay, hi, good afternoon. Good speaking to you after a while. In terms of individual stocks, what are the stocks where you think positional calls can be taken on the long side?
Hi, Sonia. See, I had mentioned a couple of weeks ago that the markets trying to find value in relatively new listings, and I advocated people to look at that space. I have a couple from that space and one tech name. Quick Heal is actually having a breakout today. So it's a stop loss at about 430 and a price objective of 720 for Quick Heal. And last time we turned bullish on this at about 184 levels in 2023, and it's had a pullback from multi-year high. So it seems to have found a bottom recently. So it has potential to scale fresh 50-week highs around 720. And from a relatively newly listed space, I like two stocks. One is Rosary Biotech. It's had a micro double bottom at around 650 mark, and it's probably heading towards 1,050. But you need to scale up your positions, put in something about 10% at current levels, and then add on pullback. That's the best strategy. And another new listing, relatively new listing, is Idea Forge. It's a drone manufacturing company. It's had a steep fall from about 1,300, if my guess is correct. I don't recall it exactly, but the bottom is around, and it's dropped about 50% from its listing, and it's breaking out of a downtrend line today. So a stop loss at about 698. And a price objective of about 1,067 for Idea Forge.
Okay, hi Jay, good afternoon and good to see you. When things are looking good for our markets. As you said, we're moving up pretty smoothly, consolidating, then again resuming their uptrend. The worry for me is in the last week or so, we had crude oil prices that spiked up more than 5%. And Brent is holding around $85 per barrel. We have seen this in the past. It goes to around $90 and then it pulls back. You don't want that sort of a scenario to play out though. What's it telling you on the charts?
Yeah, dollar index, gold, silver, copper, and crude are all at an important juncture. Anything higher for Brent and dollar index, I need to probably flip the short-term view. I'm anticipating a correction for the dollar index and also crude. Crude, anything about 85.5 is going to point to higher crude for something about 95 odd levels, maybe even higher. The positioning, if you look at in CME, it's one of the lowest in many years, even probably very close to the pandemic low. When it comes to the dollar index, I don't expect it to cross 105.75. That can have impact on most of the commodities. And the June lows for silver and gold should not get broken. If it does, I need to drop my bullish stance and switch to the other side. But I'm watching these names, these commodities and the dollar index very closely. They are all at an important juncture.
Okay, well, Jay, thanks a lot for that. Well, for now, we just have about 5 or 7 minutes before the markets close, and it looks like it's going to close in a high. We're going to close at the closer to the high point. The Nifty is up almost 100 points right now. Sensex is up 300 points, and we had that last-minute flourish in the last 10-15 odd minutes, which is looking pretty good for the bulls. But Zaggle Prepaid is in focus as the company has recently signed an agreement with the payment gateway service Skydo Tech to facilitate cross-border payments for Zaggle corporate customers. Earlier today, we spoke to Raj N, the founder and executive chairman of the company, who said that the company sees a 50% growth for the next 2 to 3 years. Listen in.
If you look at our first quarter, which is probably, we should do about 125% jump from what we did last year. Last year, Q1 was 118 crores. This year possibly is going to be anywhere between 240 to 260 crores. The results we are seeing in FY24 and, going forward, eventually we see Zoyer settling down somewhere between, 45 to 50% of our revenue. Typically about 17 odd percent is how we have, looked at this year, and maybe we might possibly stretch by another, 2 odd percent. So we'll be in that 19-20% range of, cross-selling. New products is, Zoyer, which has already seen 30%. Plus, if you see, we have bought a company, Tax Planner, very, very recently. We have taken a 45% stake in that company.
Okay, Jay, what about the mother market? What are the levels you're looking at out there? Because that one's giving a lot of support. And anything you have read on the chart with regard to NVIDIA, even overnight it made a fresh all-time high, but it came off there. NVIDIA, Apple, some of those fancied names?
Yeah, the US market is all about the S&P 500 minus the 5. The big fives are continuing to clock higher highs. If you look at the other key indices, the Dow Jones has clocked high in March, and that's not getting exceeded. In fact, it's much below it. And if you adjust the S&P 500 for inflation, it's barely eking out again. And the NVIDIA has got probably a couple of higher highs to come through, but it's also looking quite stretched. So as a consequence, the Nasdaq has got higher highs to come through. But when it comes to Dow Jones, Dow Transports, and Russell 2000, they all look top to me, and the Russell 3K is actually much below the 70% of the stocks are below the 2021 level. So this is pointing to a very skewed market. Higher highs are due, but when the turn comes, it's going to be quite telling.
Okay, for now, higher highs. By the way, a little stat from our market action here today. 7 Nifty stocks hit fresh 52-week highs today, and guess what? 4 out of the 7 were from the auto sector. 3 were the two-wheeler guys, Bajaj Auto, Hero, and Eicher. They hit that 52-week high, and then there was profit taking, so they've all ended, about to end on the negative side. The fourth was Mahindra & Mahindra. Nifty Auto Index, because of the fact there's been consistent profit taking from morning, the index itself is ending close to the lows of the session. Jay, quickly, any auto stocks that you like, any trades that you'd advise on here? A lot of these stocks, they've been rank outperformers really over the last 1 year.
Definitely, Surabhi. We look at stocks outside the large cap space. That's been my consistent theme. You have to look at something like Wheels India. The fact that TVS Motors and other TVS names are doing quite well. And this was breaking out after several months. It's been a rank underperformer since 2018. The 2018 trend line is breaking out for Wheels India, and it's got upside potential somewhere close to 1,300. But the breakout happened last week. So add a little now and add more on pullback. The stop loss should be somewhere about 720. So the risk reward is also quite attractive at current levels.
Okay, well, thanks a lot for that, Jay. Pleasure speaking to you. We have just